Hey, welcome to the Relentless Positivity Podcast. I'm your host, Joe Martin. Thank you so much for tuning in. Got an interesting one today, talking about disciplining your environment rather than disciplining yourself. So I heard an interesting story in the book Atomic Habits by James Clear, one of the best books of all time, especially on habits. Go pick it up if you haven't heard it. It's talking about two politicians visited Vietnam to see the troops and learned that there was rampant heroin use going on. An investigation found that 20% of all service members of Vietnam were heroin addicts. That's crazy. 1 in 5. I did the math for you. Addicted to heroin. Obviously, the politicians were shocked and set into motion a plan to track and help rehab these guys when they got home. And if you know anything about heroin addiction, they were facing a grim, thankless task, rough times. It's one of the hardest drugs to quit. But what ended up happening was very shocking to all the politicians and everyone involved. In the end, about 9 out of 10 service members previously addicted to heroin were able to break their addiction. How is that possible? That goes way against the norms of what has been in the past. So it talked about if you want to change your behavior, you have to change your environment. So these soldiers were under the constant stress of war. They were around the same group of guys who were also addicted to heroin. They shared a deep bond from the war, and heroin was easily accessible. This all created a recipe for disaster. But when they came home, all these triggers went away. When they were no longer around the triggers, they got out of the routine of using heroin, and that got them away out of the habit of using. So why is that relevant for you? It means you're not weak. It does not mean you lack discipline. It doesn't mean you don't want it bad enough that you hear all the time when you aren't able to stop or start doing something. You don't need to discipline yourself. You need to discipline your environment. So think about, where do you constantly find yourself tripping up? So some examples I see a lot are keeping junk food at the house or at your desk that you eventually give into. Quit buying that stuff and keep it in the house. That's a step on there. So every time you have a certain amount of drinks you want to smoke, so kind of know your limit on there and stick to it. You stay on social media too long and end up feeling rushed, no time to get everything done. So something I do is put limits on my social media, and also I put it in a file in there, my Facebook and Instagram, under time wasters. So I have to click on this box every time I go in there. It says time wasters before I go in there. It helps you, just a little mental thing to help you kind of deal with put limits on that. Or maybe you stay up way too late watching Netflix or scrolling through the internet and you feel exhausted the next day, can't get things done. Keep the electronics out of the bedroom. They don't belong in there. They're going to mess up your sleep. The lights on there can help you stop your melatonin production. You don't want all that. So keep them out of the bedroom. So that's just some things I've talked about. Think about where you get tripped up, though, and how you can change that. Think about ways to discipline your environment. So think about what slows you down the most and start taking steps to fix it. And if you need help with that, you can reach out to me and I can help you do that. All right, so discipline your environment. That'll help discipline yourself. All right, so here's the good news this week. So Wanda Smith always wanted to be a school teacher. You know, just like it happens to a lot of us, life kind of got in the way. She had 3 kids. She was taking care of her mom. So she was working 2 jobs. She was working as a bus monitor and a custodian at Brenham Independent School District in Texas. So despite having long days and a lot of responsibilities going on, she started taking night classes when she was 37 years old. 9 years later, she graduated with a bachelor's degree from Sam Houston State University, and she was finally a certified teacher. And then things came full circle when she was hired as a first grade teacher back at Brenham Elementary School in her old school district where she used to clean, the rooms and all that stuff and do the bus and all that. So it's a pretty cool thing. So the mayor actually got wind of this. Milton Tate Jr., that sounds like a mayor, doesn't it? The mayor of Brenham heard the story and was so impressed, he declared May 4th, 2021, Be the Best You Can Be Day, the Wanda Smith Day. How about that? And the phrase, that phrase was also, her phrase was Be the Best You Can Be. And it was put on a commemorative schoolyard bench, and a scholarship was set up in her name at Sam Houston State for up-and-coming teachers. And then she had an awesome quote. She got to go on the Today Show, and she said, "When I stand in front of my classroom, I am living my dream." Isn't that who you want teaching your kids? That's pretty awesome right there. So I like to tell you, hey, education doesn't have an expiration date. So what's keeping you from living out your dreams and being the best you can be like Wanda Smith? Take a cue from Wanda, go get that done. You could still do it. There's no expiration date on education. All right, let's hit your dad joke of the week. How about that? What do you call an African animal with an upset stomach? A hippopotamus. Think about it. Just think about that. All right, let's hit some sponsor. We'll wrap this thing up. So Apparelab, let me ask you this. Are you a business owner? Or maybe you're just really an awesome friend? So the weather's starting to warm up. You know what you need? Get your clients some tumblers. Get them some branded tumblers from Apparelab. So remember the McDLT back in the day, the one that kept the hot stuff hot and the cold stuff cold? That's what these tumblers will do for you, and they look awesome. So email Apparelab at apparellab@gmail.com. Use promo code Relentless. Save yourself some money. Get an awesome product. Meet some good people. All right, my guy Dominic Garver. you know what you do? You just save some money. So he just saved a local veteran, help him reduce his mortgage by 10 years and reduce his monthly payment too. That's crazy, man. Check out his website, rocketcitymortgageguy.com, or give him a call at 256-714-1429. And if it's 4th and 1 and you need to get that first down, give him the ball. He'll get you the first down as well. All right. Thanks for tuning in. Hope you have an awesome week. Thank you so much for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed that episode. Please rate, review, share, all that good stuff. Help the positivity get out there in the world, and you have a great day.